I'm going to show you how I created these 3 minimalist landscape paintings on 3 different types of paper. Okay, so not only does this allow you to do some nice finished work with fairly minimal supplies, but it also offers you the opportunity to try out different types of paper. Okay, the first paper I have here is an Archer's cold pressed fine grain paper. And then the second one is a 600 GSM Cardi paper, which comes with a deckled edge. And then the final one I'm using is this watercolor postcard, and this one's from Khadi, and as you can see on the back, it has a sort of postcard graphics. Okay, so I've got 2 glasses of clean water here. I've got my palette, and I've got a acrylic ink which is Rowney, and this one is Paynes grey with a pipette. Then I've got some brushes in different sizes and some tape to make neat edges. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Khadi paper. I'm just taping down the side so that I get a clean finish. Okay, so I'm ready to start now, and I'm just going to apply the acrylic ink straight from the pot with the pipette because I want to get a really dark and fairly thin line. So this is going to be like the horizon line, and I'm making it straight, but I'm adding a bit of variation just to add interest. And now I'm getting my brush with some water, and I'm just running it across the bottom and across the top, picking up some of that paint. The paint's bleeding into the water. So what I'm doing is I'm running all the way across, but I'm not touching all of the line with the wet brush. And this is giving a nice contrast between the soft edges where the water touches the line and the hard edges where the water doesn't touch the line. You've got to work quite quickly with acrylic ink because once it dries even a little bit, you can't, unlike with watercolor paint, you can't go over the paint to work it more into the paper. Now, as you can see, I really haven't done very much to this, and I think it's done, so I'm just going to put it aside and get my next one out, which is the Archer's cold press paper. Here I'm using washi tape, which works just the same as the other tape which I bought in the art store. It just gives me a thinner edge as this paper's a bit smaller. Okay, so I'm doing the same thing, the acrylic ink straight from the pot with the pipette. This line is slightly different to the first one, so let's see how it turns out. And now what I'm doing is I'm actually using a acrylic brush. I used a watercolor brush for the first one, but I feel like the acrylic brush doesn't actually let off as much water. So very similar method to the first painting. As you can see, the paint dries quickly, so you do have to work quickly. Okay, that's it. I'm happy with this one. So on to the next one. This is the postcard. I've run out of washi tape, so I'm just going to have to use the masking tape, but I'm not going to use the full width of it. And actually I'm just going to put it either end now because I don't think it's necessary to put it top and bottom. Okay, so on it goes, the thin line with the pipette. I'm just trying to add a bit of interest to that line. My acrylic brush again. So I'm kind of happy with this, but I want to make this part in the middle look a bit more continuous. So Just going to try and blend the paint in a bit there, using a thinner brush. Okay, so it's looking okay, but I think it's just a little bit too simple at the moment. So I'm going to try and bring some of that ink up, just to add a little bit more interest to the painting. Okay, so that's it. I'm not going to do any more to this painting. I'm happy with it. As you can see, they're really minimalist looking paintings, and there's a really minimalist amount of work that's gone into them. In fact, there's been more time into the preparation than the actual painting. So now it's time to see if any of the other two paintings have dried and to take off the tape. Okay, so this is the Cardi Paper one. Just taking the tape off carefully. I've speeded it up a bit, so I'm doing this slower than it seems in the video. And that's it. And the next one, the Archer's cold press paper, taking the washi paper off. And then finally, the one that I just did, which I have let dry for probably half an hour, taking the tape off. It's done. Okay, so let's see what we've got. Postcard, the cold press paper, and the Khadi paper. I'm pretty happy with these three paintings. Really minimalist, really simple, but kind of fun, and frame them, put them up on the wall. Obviously one like this, you could just send it as a postcard to someone. This is the one on the cold pressed Archer's paper, and it will need flattening. You could just damp the back and put it under some books. The one that I did on the Cardi paper doesn't need flattening because the Cardi paper is very thick. It's 600 GSM, and because of the deckled edges, it would look nice float mounted if you wanted to frame it. So the interesting thing about this is that you can see that the paint has come out with slightly different colour on the different types of paper, and that's why working like this can be good, because it really kind of gives you an understanding of what the different papers like, the effect the different paper has on the colour and the texture of the final painting, and just what kind of paper that you like. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button, and if you want to see similar videos, then please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye.